help him. I think he should have taken whatever deal and got himself a good job out there. Now, people are going to wonder. Leland now has an opportunity to go in, help a football team a lot. Jim Fossil, their offensive coordinator, will get the ball out in a hurry. Boomer Esiason certainly knows how to get the ball, good soft touch into a running back's hands. We could be seeing the next Thurman Thomas in more ways than one, Boomer, coming out of this draft.
Well, as we try and boost Leland's spirits up a little bit, which he just did, the commissioner just met him and had a couple of private words there. Last year, there were 32 picks in the first round. This is the 32nd pick, so it was last year this would have been a first-round pick. His brother, Reggie McElroy, played offensive line with Jets and Raiders, etc. So he knows what's coming a little bit more in the NFL than maybe some others who weren't in that situation. Let's go up to Bristol, right? Is that where we're going? Let's go up to Chris Fowler and company. And why, Chris and Coach Gottfried, do you think he fell here, but how big a player do you think he could be in the NFL?
Well, that seems to be the real question, and obviously there's a difference of opinion among scouts. I mean, here's a guy who is a true workout warrior, Mike. When he gets in the football field, some teams have questions about him. Break him down.
Well, the big question is, can he run tackle to tackle? That's the big question. Now, he's a high-character running back that, as we look at on film, he is really explosive. He has great speed.
He has the speed. We showed that in the workout. And then break down what he does between the tackles and evaluate that.
Well, what you want is a running back that's going to make people miss with breakaway speed. Here's Leland making people miss, stops, avoids tackles, and takes it the length of the distance for the touchdown. He has great vision, hand-eye coordination, and catching the football. A lot of toss sweeps by Texas A&M. Here's a nice pass. It's a low throw. Look at him go down, make that catch, turn it into a very big gain. He tested very well, as Mel talked about. He tested, he's explosive. Here he run the cone drill. People are very impressed with what he's done in the weight room and the testing room. And I think the other thing you got to remember about him, he's a dangerous kickoff return man. 36.6 career yards. He's the best in NCAA history. So he brings that to Arizona also. I think, Chris, if there's one other question about Leland McElroy, it's the fact that he's only played for 1 year. Really only did it for 1 year, and he was hurt in a couple ball games. So that's the questions around him.
But perhaps a steal for Arizona. He spent his college career last year trying to get to Sun Devil Stadium in the national championship game in the Fiesta Bowl. Didn't get there, but now he'll play at least the first year of his pro career, apparently, down in Arizona. That's where Gary Danielson's standing by. Gary?
Yeah, right, Chris. I'm with Vince Tobin. Vince, you had a plan. You said you may need a blocking fullback, a tight end, but I don't think you planned on Leland McElroy being there.
Well, we really didn't. When it came closer to our pick, it was you got really, really excited because we had Leland rated very high, and it was such a gap between him and anybody else that we might have picked in the thing. We just couldn't afford to pass him up.
In fact, as your choice came, we had some video in the warm room of you reacting to a couple choices. It looked like you were a little upset at the time, or was it just more possibilities?
Well, it was more possibilities, and I was afraid that we would lose him because he was rated so high, and we'd talked to some other teams about possibly moving down if he wasn't there, and then that kind of fell through, and I thought we were going to be stuck with the pick and not get him, and I just knew that the Jets were going to take him because I thought they needed a running back, and when they didn't, I guess that's the way I reacted.
And when you take a Leland McElroy, of course, that leads to the next question about Garrison Hurst. He's a restricted free agent. Talk about Garrison and how the plans fit with Leland and Garrison now.
Well, of course, Leland gives you a couple things. He's a great kickoff return guy, and he also can return punts, even though he didn't do it in college. Ray Mickens did it in college, but he can do it, and so he gives you an instant threat as a kickoff and punt returner, and we'll just see how it plays out. I don't think you can ever get too many good football players, and I would still hope that Garrison would be on our football team, be a very big productive part of it, but we just couldn't afford to pass up Leland.
All right, things have gone well so far for you in the draft. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's go back now to New York and Chris Berman.
All right, Gary and Coach, thank you very much. And Leland McElroy, relieved finally, is with our Craig James. Craig?
Relieved. I don't know. Is the word relief appropriate for you right now?
Yes, it is. I am relieved. It didn't matter what team I would play for now. It was just a matter of being selected. It really didn't matter to me where I would go.
Why do you think you waited until the second round to be selected?
That's a question I do not have the answer to. I was very disappointed, but at the same time, my career doesn't end now. It's just beginning. And, there's been a few second rounders in the past who, had a lot more ability and were able to be in the first round, like Ricky Waters, Thurman Thomas, and things like people like that. So I mean, it's no big deal to me. I'll make up for it.
I think there are a lot of people that use the word ability and potential. Why are they using the word potential with you?
I think they use the word potential because I've only started at Texas A&M 1 year, but I've been playing since I've been there, which a lot of people don't realize. So, you know, I think the word potential is used because of the simple fact that I only started and was a full-time starter 1 year.
When you're on the phone with the Cardinals, what'd they say?
He told me that he really didn't believe that I would slide this far, but it was just the opportunity they couldn't pass up.
You keep telling him you're #1 pick. When you go back to that, remind him.
I'll remind him of that, but the most I can do right now is just go out there and try to showcase my abilities and make up for today in some type of way.
All right, good luck, and thanks for hanging in there.
Thank you.
All right, good luck. All right, I know this. The Cardinals did get 2 #1 picks today, Boom.
Yeah, that's the way they're looking at it, Craig, that's for sure. So the next on the clock is Jacksonville, followed by the Giants. We shall return. The Rams get a 2nd-round pick, so that's coming up, well, late in this round, and a 4th-round pick in 1997. So really not a big price to pay for the Pittsburgh Steelers, certainly if Jerome Bettis turns out to be the player that he was his rookie year with the then Los Angeles Rams. The Jacksonville Jaguars have picked the 3rd pick in the 2nd round. It's one of the most interesting players I think that we have. Tony Bracken's defensive end from Texas. Here's a young man that grew up in Texas. He wants to and has done rodeo. He's a cattle rancher. He will throw around 50-pound sacks of seed, 80-pound hay bales, working on 800 acres of his family farm. He can tackle and rope steers. So, Mel, you would think that if he can do that, he can tackle and rope ball carriers.
I'll tell you, he can get after the quarterback, and that's what Jacksonville wants. When you look at the Jaguars, they want to get somebody who can attack the line of scrimmage. They got Kevin Hardy, a great outside linebacker. Now watch Tony Bracken. He was a former newcomer of the year in the Southwest Conference. Only carries 6.8% body fat. You look at him and you say, well, he's 260. He's undersized. Well, he did 30 reps at the combine, ran a 4.82 on a slow track. That's a great workout, in addition to the fact he was a very productive football player. Had he not had a disappointing Sugar Bowl performance against Virginia Tech, you may have been looking at a guy who was a mid-first rounder. So for value alone, I think Jacksonville did a tremendous job in this draft, really solidifying a defensive front 7 with Hardy and Brackens, which was a major weak link on that football team last year.
You talk about major weak link, Mel. All you have to do is defensively take a look at where the Jacksonville Jaguars were ranked, and it'll show you why Tom Coughlin has decided to go in that direction. 21st in total yards per game, 24th in yards rushing, 28th in points. That means people scored a lot against him. Takeaways, and absolutely dead last in sacks. That's why he's committed himself to going to get people who can make plays. Again, you have to use Tom Coughlin's verbiage here. I want to take players where I can get value at that position. He has gotten value again in Tony Bracken.
Well, so that's what Jacksonville has done with 2 picks in the front 7. Now we have the Giants, and their fans are waiting with under 6 minutes to go. Tom Coughlin comes from the Giants school, really, having worked for a long time under Bill Parcells. Value for the pick. Now, the Giants went defense in the 1st round, going with Cedric Jones, the big defensive end that can play all 3 downs from Oklahoma. Now, Mel, if you're looking at value for the Giants, is this a wide receiver spot? You could get good value, certainly, here.
You get great value, Chris. I think you look at a guy, certainly an Amani Toomer at Michigan. You can get a Muhsin Muhammad from Michigan State, a Derek Mays from Notre Dame, Bobby Ingram from Penn State. These are some good wide receivers that had they been first-round draft choices, Joe, nobody would have argued with that selection. So a Giant team that certainly, Thomas Lewis is still an unknown quantity despite being a first-round pick. They have Callaway back. All they have after that is Gary Harrell and Omar Douglas. So, if Dave Brown's going to be re-signed, they better go after a wide receiver.
Will they be hollering?
They're on their feet.
They're ready. Is he going to protect Dave Brown, this fellow?
He's listening to it.
It's got to be a receiver, doesn't it?
I would think so. It looks like he's hoping.
With the 34th selection overall, the New York Giants have selected Amani Toomer, wide receiver from Michigan. Amani Toomer.
Well, and he has a good name for New York because he dresses well. Amani, but
if he doesn't,
he'll dress in Armani suits now that he's an early 2nd-round pick with the Giants. And, of course, this is a good position to get good value. Sterling, let's go up to you and ask you about Amani Toomer from the Big Ten. Good pick for the Giants. You like a 6'3", 200 pounds. You can relate to a big receiver.
Very good pick. I think Amani Toomer is one of those guys that his production was down a little bit because of the emergence of Mercury Hayes on the other side of it.